All right, everybody. Welcome to Moonhawk Studios presents. Hold on. Did not mute the tab, so it was blaring in my ears. I am Mac Paladin. With me in the studio, as always, is my good friend Adam.
So you audio banged yourself.
The auto flashbang, as I call it, on the other show.
Yep. I hit myself with the stun gun. Kevin's here.
Yeah, I gotta remember, gotta turn the radio down when you're talking.
Hey! Hold on, I gotta adjust the tubes. Petty fan on technicals.
I have not burned everything down yet.
We're working on it.
The lighter is there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And, of course, we got the Galax.
I am here.
I was going to say something about space lasers, but I decided the joke wasn't worth it. The joke wasn't worth it. All right. Well, we hope we have a great show for you tonight. We are somehow once again Sans guest. A bit concerning, but we'll muddle through. In the meantime, Adam, why don't you go ahead and start us off with the news?
My news is pretty light this week because for the past half week I have been fighting a cold. Yeah, it's like, so not a lot going on except, a lot of cold things. Like lying in bed and drinking cold medication. Not fun.
By the keg.
Yeah.
No, that comes later.
I have to be particular about the cold medication I drink these days.
Oh, yeah?
Some of them have sugar in it.
Ah, yes.
Nyquil's right out these days.
Well, the best part is the alcohol, turns into sugar.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Kevin?
Well, not really much going on over here. Typical weekends at the AMC, and most part, that's about it. So, that's all for me. Eddie, what's your news?
What did they tell me to say here?
Let's
I said that out loud, didn't I?
Saturday we had a fun-ish trip to the big city. We went to Micro Center, which, hooray for Micro Center. I could probably spend an entire day walking around that place if given the opportunity. I did get myself a Raspberry Pi 5, so I can use that for my new kind of emulation setup in the living room. So, yay! I just need a chance to get a better power supply for it. And I think I have a removable hard drive with about 1 terabyte on it to take my various ROMs and disk burns I have and dump them on there. So, yay! I also got, I don't know, you've probably seen these, Mac. They're battery-powered blowers, basically to replace canned air.
Okay, yeah.
I grabbed one of those. I think it was like $30 at Micro Center, which I probably could have got it cheaper online, but it was also a spur of the moment purchase. And as long as it lasts me longer than 7 cans of air, it's still going to be a net gain on my end.
Right. Canned air, $8 a can.
Yeah. And a lot of them have been fucking stolen and in a locked case here because people have been huffing them in the restrooms again.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, hope it's been working well. The big test to see if it can actually, help clear out the air conditioners because we're going to be starting to get those, out of storage and whatnot because window units. So make sure they don't have any spiders or anything living in them. And I guess also get the heaters, dusted out so they can be put into storage. And then we went to visit a card shop that, well, it was fairly nice. Unfortunately, the day they do Digimon card game stuff is only on Thursdays. And with the parents working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, going about 50 miles out just one way just to play a card game on Thursday night, not very conceivable.
Doesn't sound very economically with Uber.
Oh god, no. There's no way I could fucking afford that Uber. So yeah, it's one of those, I may hang around in their Discord group for a while and might poke around to see if they'd be willing to change the date to a weekend day, but I also know that's a very premium day for card games, obviously, because, it's the day most people are off work. So it really depends if the Digimon group is big enough to warrant going to a weekend slot, or if I just need to look and see if there are any other card game shops that do weekend Digimon stuff. And then they finally finished the road work on my street. I think it's been the first time since I was in high school they finally repaved this road, which is weird because it's one of the busier streets in town. So, hooray for fresh pavement. The house is going to be smelling like it for days because pavement stinks. And yeah, other than that, I guess Sunday we tried to go to the local card shop that's shutting down, and the tables are now gone, and these chairs are stacked up. So the closure is coming, which is very unfortunate. They're having a big liquidation sale this weekend. I'm gonna see if I can stop by. Like, they don't even have the terminals to take credit cards anymore. Yeah, so it's one of those things. It sucks because, like, this is a very underserved market by, there's only one card shop and it's going out of business. Like, I don't know if you guys know what vintage stock is. We have one of those here. Like, yeah, they sell like Magic cards and Pokemon cards, but they don't have a place for you to like play like an actual card shop.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, if you want to play a card game, you have to go to the big city, and that's, nearly an hour away. Tall ask for someone who can't drive. Some of the Lorcana group is discussing renting a room at the library on the weekends, but it really depends on the times for that. And there's at least one guy from the card shop who still plays Digimon, so we can kind of see about just get together and either playing online, or like there's a cafe the family goes to in the morning on weekend mornings. See if he wants to roll by there, and we play while the sister and mother and probably his significant other all chat and stuff. It just really sucks, get emotionally vested in a place and it disappears. And yeah, I guess that's it from my end.
All right. Alex?
I have had a fairly eventful week so far. On Monday, since I live reasonably close to where the eclipse is,
Hmm.
I took the day off, and some friends and I drove a couple hours to where it was in totality.
Did you end up sacrificing people to make sure the sun comes back?
No, and I think the people in the convenience store parking lot probably would have. The other people in the convenience store parking lot probably would have frowned on that. It was a pretty interesting experience. A little bit hard to describe. I wouldn't say it was like life changing, but I think it was definitely worth it for something that's so relatively rare.
Yeah. Like for us in the US, we're not going to see it again for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And even then, you'll probably have it. This one was, on the grand scheme of things, very close.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the traffic on the way home was terrible because while it was fine going up because people were arriving at various times.
Everyone wanted to leave when it was over.
Right.
Especially because when it ended was about, either off work or dinner time preparation.
Oh yeah,
time.
we definitely ran into. Well, it was like we left after totality, but before it was actually completely over. But we still ended up running into rush hour traffic at the end of the way home. So
rush hour traffic in Maine is what, 3 cars? I kid.
So what you're not considering is that the roads are also small.
Fair. That is fair.
And a lot of the northern half of the state, which is where it was, is even more so rural.
Yeah, that was just a bad joke on my part.
Yeah, I've been down one lane roads before. They're pretty. They can be pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. It was mostly 2 lanes, but still. Well,
But yeah.
1 lane going each way, but...
Yeah, 1 lane going each way, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
One where you got to be very, very careful if you want to pass a car.
Yeah, it was really... it was a very scenic drive. There were lots of nice woods and ponds and mountains and stuff, but... Not that the road went through mountains, but they were, like, within view range. But, it was, not a place where it's easy to go fast when there's a lot of cars. Anyway, that was the main thing. And then, yeah, because the end of last week was a pain in the ass. Because we had another power outage. But yeah, my birthday's coming up this weekend, which I had almost kind of forgotten with everything else going on. So, we'll see. We'll probably go somewhere nice for dinner, but I don't know if I have any other plans particularly. And I guess video game wise, I've been mostly playing Splatoon 3. I went back and finally finished the post-game challenge level for the original single player campaign because it's a long endurance challenge level with not a whole lot of checkpoints, which is not my favorite thing to do, but for the spring Splatfest that's coming up fairly soon, the theme is what is your favorite thing? Which is your favorite kind of fluffy thing, bunnies, chicks, or bears? And the prize for that level is a pair of bear ears. So I figured since I'm on Team Bear, I should probably wear the bear ears. And I think that's about all I got.
Okay. Well, the bathroom reconstruction has finally completed, so now it's just a matter of continuing to assemble the room.
Like the Avengers?
If the Avengers were built out of Roblox, sure.
So the Avengers.
Yes. Lego Avengers.
I mean, that does exist.
Yes, exactly.
You're
And
getting
when you step,
Duplo Avengers, and you'll like it.
wow. That's a menacing statement right there.
Yeah.
And not much else to say. Just continuing to order things off of Temu that I need for the house, and getting money together so that way I can buy out the remnants of the dollar store that's closing. 99 cents only stores are all 371 stores are clearancing and will probably be gone before the end of the month of April.
Yeah,
Because hedge funds.
Yay!
I watched that video today.
What, you were starting to say something else though.
Not sure.
As far as dollar stores go, 99 cents only stores were kind of niche. They were started out of want to say out of Santa Monica, California.
Southern California, yep.
Yeah, and it was a family-owned business, and it's been around for 40 years. And they started out with everything at the 99-cent price point, but they actually had like good stuff. And it was just smaller versions of well-known name brands for the most part in the beginning. And then they expanded into...
Yeah, they fucked around with Texas a lot.
Yeah. But the thing I liked about them was they kind of subbed in for a full-on grocery store and acted kind of like a discount grocer. So you could go in there and get actual produce like fruit and vegetables and stuff, fresh, locally grown stuff, and locally supplied stuff. You could get milk and cheese and butter and bags of Dino Nuggies if necessary. Taquitos, ground beef, bread, wine.
Yeah.
They had the whole 9 yards there. Toys, electronics, garden tools, needs, and stuff like that. Even though the store across the street from me wasn't extraordinarily large, it had quite a lot of merchandise in it. So I'll be picking up some things on clearance before they're all gone. I need to get some of these little wooden fence pieces for my garden in the backyard. And they have a whole box of them there that nobody seems to be looking at.
Well,
because they're too busy. They're too busy buying up all the cheese, butter, and milk.
Another case of private equity vultures pecking a company to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what happened. Was I guess about 20 years or so ago, the family who all at one point owned and worked.
Yeah, Company Man put out a video about the 99-cent stores today. So
yeah, it was founded in downtown Los Angeles actually.
Okay.
Guy who got founder's family actually sold out about 13 years ago, actually, in 2011 to private equity.
Yeah.
And then the family ended their involvement in January 2013. Then April 22nd, founder died. And almost 11 years later, private equity got a private equity.
Yeah, and they claimed it was, it's due to shrink and, changes in the marketplace and this and that.
Yeah,
and it's
right.
It's like, you could have sold it. You could have done a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of things you could have done. Maybe not installing the stores in like the worst neighborhoods possible would have been a good way to reduce shrink.
Well, it looks like that people in Southern California are probably going to find out what it's like to have this brand not under a private equity chain, because apparently group of employees want to save the company down there. So considering where it was founded, yeah. Former president of Big Lots is planning to get a group of investors, including some former executives of the company to try to acquire the Southern California stores of the chain. Which,
Well,
considering the fact that this is where the chain was founded, well, that probably makes sense, I guess.
it would be nice if they could save it here in Tucson. They've actually been quite valuable to us, and they fill a niche that Dollar General and Dollar Tree do not. Like I said, they have a lot more supermarket-y type stuff in their stores than you can get at Dollar Tree. I mean, I can live with Dollar Tree if I go with a combination of stores like Walmart and Target and Fry's and Dollar Tree and Dollar General and Family Dollar and Walgreens and whatever. If I go to a myriad of stores, I'm sure I can get all of the things that I used to get, but it's just the annoyance factor. We still have McGarry's private, it's a privately owned business here in Tucson called McGarry's Discount Grocer that gets all of this. In fact, probably a lot of the stuff that they're going to be liquidating from the 99 cents only stores here in Tucson are going to end up in McGarry's anyway. Because that's what they do is they buy out liquidations and stuff like that. Either that or discontinued products or stuff that didn't sell within a reasonable time frame and was returned to the vendor, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not that I'll go without. It's just the extreme convenience of it being literally across the street from me. And the fact that I didn't really have to go shopping elsewhere to get, broccoli and ranch dressing and bread and milk and stuff. It was kind of a one-stop shop when stuff was in stock, So I liked it, and it was a neat concept, and I discovered it myself back in 2003 when my friend Nathan and I were first moved out and were living in our apartment. There was one just up the street from us on Palm Avenue. So, well, I hope they are able to save the company and re-expand at some point.
Yeah,
but
that probably might not be the case at this point, considering probably they expanded a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
No, the issue was that they couldn't compete against Dollar General and Dollar Tree, which have over 30,000 stores combined, whereas they had 371. So when it comes to distribution, vendors don't want to deal with small people; they want to deal with bulk because it's easier.
Especially when you come to that low price point.
Mm-hmm. You gotta sell in bulk. So
yeah.
So that's like the big thing that's happening right now is that everybody is panic buying at the 99 cents only stores. What was bad about it was, private equity going to private equity, as you said. They did a stinky thing and didn't tell any of the employees that this was going down until 15 days before they stopped accepting gift cards.
Oof.
And so what does that mean? Well, what that basically means is that they're planning on basically shuttering after the 19th, and they did not want their employees to mass exodus until they got done with the liquidation.
Yeah, and they also didn't give them a chance to look for other employment, so...
Which is kind of implied in the mass exodus, but yes, that is the sort of larger issue is that nobody has the opportunity to go get other jobs before next month's rent is due.
Mm-hmm.
And there will probably be zero severance.
Yeah, of course.
Of any kind.
Of course.
You broke up completely there, Mac. We couldn't hear a word you were saying.
What?
Yeah,
all that was cut out because of Discord's suppression thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the Discord suppression thing. You're clear tonight. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, it's the challenges of minimum wage going up and the theft and we just can't go on.
And all the debt you stuff the company with.
What's that?
Yeah.
And all the debt you stuff the company with.
Yeah.
$600,000 interest payments.
Yeah.
Quick, my fainting couch.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, they raked in the profits during the pandemic, and then they engineered it so that way. I'm pretty sure that they set it up to fail. Is basically what was
Oh yeah, a
what
lot
was the
of
bottom line.
private equity did that.
How private equity works.
Yeah. It feels like there should be a law against private equity owning any business.
Oh yeah, there should be, but
Or at, the,
yeah.
or, at the very, or at the very least, a regulation in terms of how private equity handles a situation such as this. And they don't just
Regulation, that's
simply say,
communism.
"Well, yeah, you know."
Welcome to hedge funding 101.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Ultra
that's
capitalism 101.
yep. That's the depressing news in my area is that once again a nice thing has failed because of
Private equity.
because of robber barons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mac's right on this one.
Yeah.
Both could be right. Both could be right.
Fair.
I mean, private equity are robber barons. I mean, it's
yeah,
just
valid.
Exactly. Yes.
it's just an anachronistic term for a modern phenomenon.
Right. Right.
You know, for something that's
Right,
been ongoing since the invention of the corporation 4 centuries ago.
Only on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. This has always been a thing. It's always with us. On the upshot, though, I should be able to get one of my first countercade arcade machines for Arcade Anarchy this week.
Woo.
So we'll try to bring things into a more positive note. Yeah, I'm just kind of bummed about this because it was really a one-stop shop for me. I got everything there. I got soda, I got peanut butter, I got bread, I got milk, cheese, microwavable frozen meats.
I got a person stuffed in the freezer. Wait, no, hold on.
Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer.
You act like that's a bad thing. I mean, wait a minute.
Wow, dude. Not the time to be coy.
Boy.
Not the time to be coy.
Boy.
But yeah, I'm working on setting up my whole backyard to entertain friends and family. My living room is mostly intact again. Of course, this room is okay. I have a fuck ton of laundry I need to do. And like I said, resetting the stations in my original bedroom, which is going to be turned into a new streaming wonderland. A real person cave. Yeah, I mean, let's be totally honest here. You know, the concept of building a sports and video game laden layer is no longer gender specific. We shouldn't call it a man cave because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Girls and NBs do it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Twitch / TikTok / OnlyFans / Picardo TV / Patreon Haven, if you will. And I'll be setting up different things as I acquire more stuff off of my Temu shopping cart. Basically, I've been finding things that I want or need for this whole project and just putting it in my shopping cart and seeing how long it stays there before it disappears forever. Because the Temu does not kick anything out of your shopping cart unless it becomes discontinued or out of stock. So you could just let it sit in there indefinitely.
Hooray.
Yeah, or until you can afford to actually buy it. So, you know, got a couple grand worth of stuff in there that I'm slowly working my way through as I pay off bills and collections and other things that I've been sitting on for literal years. So, all right, let's move on to more esoteric topics.
I'm sure about esoteric, but certainly other topics.
First, I should mention, of course, that we are once again without a guest. As a reminder, I'm not sure what happened there. There seems to be not a miscommunication, but a lack of communication this time.
No idea. Like, you said it was ready to go last week, and, here we are, nothing. So, beyond me, what happened there, it's just
might be a
sometimes
time.
it's an occupational hazard. Sometimes a guest will just flat out not show up. It's happened before.
Ghost us, as they're called.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're here to talk about X-Men 97 this week.
Oh boy!
Mhm. Oh
There's
boy,
Mike.
indeed. That's actually the right way to put it.
Yeah, because we've actually gone quite a while without talking about this, because the run is now halfway over.
Yeah,
in its
episode
first season.
5 dropped this morning, and
yeah, it dropped his feet.
Boy!
Yeah, is a good way of putting it.
Let's just say, let's just say that they probably just won a Primetime Emmy Award today. Like it was that. It was probably.
I'm wondering if they're aiming
the
for that, or if they'll be up for a daytime Emmy.
No, it'll be primetime considering the TV 14 rating, and they would probably accept it because it's TV based. So,
fair enough.
As long as it's dedicated to an adult audience, and it is.
I suppose before we get into it, I should ask the crew here: how many of you are familiar with the original X-Men the animated series from the 90s?
I mean, I know of it. I didn't really watch it. I know of it. I didn't really watch it.
I certainly am very much aware of it. I went. I followed my lover along as he watched the series. I think it was a little while ago, so I know exactly front to back. So
I know a lot about it, but didn't actually watch it when it was on, and have not gone back to.
Yeah, I guess kind of same. I knew it was a thing, but I was also, very young when it was originally airing.
I was in the right age bracket, but I was also in the age bracket where my parents didn't like how things made me hyperactive sometimes. So.
Guess I was probably the right age for it. Since, I watched it when it was new. The good majority of it. Can't say I watched every episode ever. Especially when we got to season 5. Oof. That got rough. Even for a animated series done by Marvel on the cheap. But, X-Men 97 is an official sequel series to the animated series. Yeah, TAS, as it's called now. Like, I guess it's, it's like Batman the Animated Series. Not necessarily called that, but it's what it's known as now.
Yeah.
Which, on the surface, is a bit of a curious thing, since, it had been so long. And, it's not like the originals didn't have a good run. Like, 5 seasons for a children's show is pretty incredible.
Especially in the mid to late 90s.
Like, only X-Men and Spider-Man had the star power to pull that off. Well, there were other reasons. Like, Marvel going tits up in the late 90s had a lot to do with...
Yeah, that would be a reason. That would be a reason.
No, I mean, it certainly capsized a lot of other Marvel animation projects.
Certainly did.
Yeah, like the Avengers, Silver Surfer. Not so much the Hulk. That was just UPN. Well, point is, this is actually the first major X-Men property outside of the comics in a long while. Not counting the movies put out by Fox. In fact, it was because of those movies that Marvel was intentionally trying to devalue X-Men and Fantastic Four. Because, even gigantic corporations can be very petty. I'm not even joking about that. It was, pure spite because Marvel couldn't get a hold of the, Fantastic Four and X-Men properties.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, if nobody, if we can't handle them, nobody can.
Mm-hmm.
Or, so bit of scorched earth there. But, that's all done and dusted along with Fox.
Yeah.
So, here we are. And perhaps against all odds, the new X-Men series is good, actually.
I wouldn't say it would be against all odds. I think, you had a strong, base here. I mean, the only way you could screw this up is as if you actually had people who didn't give a damn about the property.
True.
Which, despite the issues Marvel's had lately, pretty much everybody that's works on these things has at least some level of love and care for whatever they decide to work on. So
Right. The thing is, X-Men are, if you will, a special breed.
right.
X-Men's kind of like Batman in that regard. Like, when you really look at it, it doesn't really fit in the larger Marvel universe. It's always been one of those frictional elements. The whole mutants versus other people with superpowers debate, among other facets.
Yeah.
So I think there was more than a touch of concern, especially since this thing was attaching itself to maybe a bit unfairly a series that has a very huge legacy. Here's the thing, like, I know the X-Men animated series is beloved, but like, it's not Batman TAS, people. Like, there's a lot of things that are strong with it. There's a lot that, wasn't too good. Once again, this was beset by animation problems and just Saban being Saban.
Oh, fuck, Saban was involved in that.
Yep. Like, if anything, the new series, like, look, it's weird. Like, it's trying to mimic the old stiff animation, but, everything's just kind of too good. It's like, I don't think you can try to be that incompetent, rushed. I'm not exactly sure what the word is. Lifeless. Whatever you would want to use to accurately describe how a large portion of the 90s series looked. Because guess what? It was animated like a lot of other series of the time were, where the part that looked really good was the intro, and the rest of it did not move as fluidly or as often. Because, they needed to cut corners somewhere. It's like, Batman the Animated Series is more the exception of the 90s and rather than the rule. So, anyway, with that in mind, yeah, this has been quite the journey, and it's hard to know where to start. I suppose with the cast,
Yeah.
because once again, if you're familiar with the original X-Men the Animated Series team, they're all back.
Well,
Plus some
those who can come back anyway.
well, the thing about
'Cause,
the X-Men the Animated Series was the team never changed.
mhm,
Oh, there were guest characters aplenty. There were
yeah,
guest X-Men, but
yeah,
in contrast to the comics,
yeah. They
they
were pretty stable.
yeah,
Was the same mix. Cyclops, Jean
Yeah.
Grey, Storm, Wolverine, Rogue and Beast, Gambit, Jubilee.
Yep.
And then I'll end up with Professor X, and that was pretty much.
Was Nightcrawler in
The-
this one, or did he come around later?
he was a special guest star.
Yeah, he was a guest. He was a recurring guest star, I guess you could call it, because
I guess
yeah,
it might
he
have been
was a
Evolutions I'm thinking of, where he was a more permanent cast member.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of X-Men like that here, like Colossus and Iceman,
Mhm.
Right.
Archangel, Psylocke.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of popular
Uh-huh.
X-Men who are one or recurring characters. And, you know, some questionable choices made in terms of casting. Looking at you, Jubilee. Well, it's like, can't really be ignored that she was pretty much cut and pasted over Shadowcat / Kitty Pryde.
Mm.
You know, like,
Well, there
to
was
the
that
point where they were.
pilot that didn't end up getting picked up. That
That's
was with
exactly
Kitty in
the
that
rationale.
role.
And that's apparently exactly the rationale that led to Kitty Pryde being deleted. Like, they were literally copying and pasting Kitty Pryde storylines and making them for Jubilee in this series. And that caused some confrontation among, the people who knew the comics, which was not the intended audience. Which I suppose is a bit of the same here, because, unlike before, they're not really trying to, grab a whole new audience necessarily. I mean, it's certainly not with the promo material. They've gone all in with the nostalgia stuff.
Yeah.
It was like all the 90s throwback.
Yeah, the promotional material has been like using old televisions, VHS covers. Yeah, VHS binders, I think is the right way to put it, because it's binder of the VHS box
Right.
put together into a poster. But yeah, like they're clearly like, yep, this is from the 90s, all right.
Yeah.
Well, from what I've heard, this is basically supposed to be a continuation of that series.
Right. It is.
Oh.
Like
Oops.
they have a. What?
I just got an update from our guest.
What?
Oh, apparently his kid's been throwing up. He lost track of time.
Well.
Wants to know if we can still do it.
If we didn't have the hard cutoff, well, I guess up to you guys.
Yeah.
We can
be an hour
reschedule.
interview, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say we.
Well,
I think we're too far in.
We're like 45 minutes into it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
we should probably do a rescheduling. But hey, at the
least
very
we got
least,
an answer, and it's all understandable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's that's understandable. Like,
Shit
your
happens.
kid comes first. Yeah, your kid comes first. Your kid comes first always.
Yeah.
So we're not. So in case someone close to him comes across this, we're not mad. We'll make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And honestly, if it
So-
wasn't for the fact that we had to have the hard cut off in like an hour, we probably
Yeah,
would
we
have
probably-
grabbed him.
Yeah, yeah. We have our own time constraints. You have your life. We'll make
Yeah.
it work.
Yeah.
So no worries, no worries.
No, at least we got the answer we were looking
Mhm.
for.
Right.
That's
And
the
it's not
important
one of
thing.
those we found out weeks later,
Yeah.
horrible thing happened.
Right. So all good, all good. Anyway.
So, anyway,
What we were saying?
getting back to X-Men 97. So, yeah, anyway, it's been doubling down, quadrupling down, however many downs you want to put on it, on the whole 90s nostalgia thing.
Mhm.
In all of the press materials. And indeed, they've also been pulling from, once again, like the original series did, classic X-Men storylines. Like the series opens with I want to say the 80s. I'm trying to remember exactly when, but the Trial of Magneto storyline. That's what makes up like episode 2. It's also where Magneto wears that stupid costume in the comics.
Yeah, Trial of Magneto was indeed 80s. 1985 to be exact.
Yeah. Only it's been updated with very, very modern sensibilities.
Very.
Yeah. I mean, yes, they brought back the Friends of Humanity, which, once again, were in the original series, and another thing from the comics. Unfortunately, that's something that's kind of timeless. But it's more the setup. It's like,
right.
you've got the Friends of Humanity raiding the UN, and, it's basically
It's
encoded in the.
Yeah.
It's January 6th, X-Men style.
Correct. Yes. It replace Capital with UN, replace Trump supporters with the Friends of Humanity, and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. And you've got your political analog. In fact, this has been the most political the X-Men have been in a good long while.
I mean, in fairness, there wasn't a whole lot politically going on when the thing was first going on. There were things, but not right now.
Oh, maybe not the direct parallels, but one thing that the original X-Men the animated series things was very political.
Yeah.
Political in a way other X-Men series, like X-Men Evolution, X-Men and Wolverine never were. You never had an episode of X-Men Evolution dealing with the Friends of Humanity. Actual bigots. It's like people who, they literally say, why do you hate mutants? Because you were born.
Fun.
I mean, that's kind of what the X-Men were supposed to be dealing with. And yeah, I know that's carried over elsewhere. It's in the movies. But maybe not to this extent. It's also, the original X-Men series was religious in a lot of, ways a lot of other children's programs weren't allowed to be. Just Nightcrawler.
Yeah, talk talk about Nightcrawler. He literally was Christian.
Yeah, he's a Benedictine monk or something like that.
Yeah.
And he talks about God and faith.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he supposed to be close to like a Roma gypsy in evolution? Or am I thinking of something
Possibly
else?
Roma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Maybe that might be who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Nightcrawler has always been a devout Catholic, and that is kind of, as you would say, the joke, since, he looks kind of like a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Well, isn't Angel an atheist?
Possibly. He's certainly a rich guy, so...
He has his own
they were real.
hang-ups.
90s Marvel was real into that irony there.
Of course they were.
Yeah, the dude with the angel wings ends up being an atheist. The dude who looks like a demon's a devout Christian.
Anyway. So, yeah. Point is, they've been leaning into a lot of the classic stuff. But, it's not just a throwback thing. It's looking to modernity as well.
Yeah.
Which I think
starters,
it had to.
Yeah. For starters, it's TV-14. So,
yeah,
it has a higher rating than it would have otherwise been on television.
Yeah. That being said, this is a series that understands all the sides of the X-Men, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, the X-Men, when people think of the X-Men, what do they think of? The action.
Yeah.
But that's just one part of it. Because the other part, the fucking soap opera.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
I'm sorry.
It is.
Oh, yes. Never mind. My
it
brain.
Is soap.
Yeah.
Soap. Yeah.
The X-Men has always been at least as much soap opera as anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Just get an organ and play it.
Oh, God.
Point. Although, I don't know. Although, this week, you probably might want to put the organ to sleep for a week.
Oh, make no mistake. The first part of this week's episode, I wanted to play the goddamn The Days of Our Lives theme song so many fucking times.
Yep.
I saw somebody online complaining about a fucking love triangle in X-Men. And I'm just
it's like, you must be new here.
Yeah,
you must be new here.
You especially complaining about the Logan, Jean, Cyclops love triangle, and I'm like,
which has been a thing about as long as Wolverine has been a character in the X-Men comics, which admittedly is not all the way back to the beginning, but it's pretty far.
Yeah, you sweet summer child.
Yeah,
you're gonna complain.
You must be new here. Come with me, my friend.
Yeah, I'm like, you may hate it, but it's like, you cannot avoid this shit. It is just kind of part and parcel of the territory. And, buddy, don't read the comic books because that'll melt your fucking brain.
It's going to blow your head off.
Because guess what?
It's like
some of the, I'm trying to remember exactly, there was that one time when Dean chose Wolvie. Comic books. It's like, turns out teenage boys didn't need soaps. They were reading comic books.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or watching pro wrestling.
All the soap you need. Well, yeah,
True.
that too. So it's like, yeah, it's all the soap opera you need.
I mean, it's the same goddamn level of melodrama.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, thankfully they got most of the old voice actors back, where they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, Norm Spencer, who originally voiced Cyclops, died in 2020,
yeah.
so they couldn't bring him back.
Yeah, it's like anyone who died or, due to racial sensitivity issues.
Yeah, that was
they got-
also a big issue with Marvel back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, thankfully they fixed it here. Like, they actually got like Jubilee's original voice actress, but she's now playing in a alternate version of herself.
Yeah, it was a very nice touch. It was a very nice touch.
So, kind of an inside nod or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, my point is this series remembers the melodrama and, doesn't have to go to high school for it.
Uh-huh.
Which is something I really never clicked with in terms of X-Men Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because by the time that series came out, I was at high school and had no interest in reliving high school. So, fuck that. I know that show wasn't for me, but I'm just noting
Mhm.
my disinterest in it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was definitely something that was part of the original series, and since you've got the original cast here, they know these melodramatic beats. Because, there are, a lot of love triangles, as you do in X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, including new ones. Because, I get, as I do have to address Magneto and Rogue.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, so here's the thing. That is an actual thing from the comics.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weirdly not.
Makes sense.
From,
The stories have generally been condensed and slightly altered versions of comic stuff, give or take, swapping out Jubilee for Shadowcat.
Yeah. Or what have you. But that, surprisingly, that wasn't Chris Claremont.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was Age of Apocalypse. It was after his run. Though that may have gotten started later or earlier. I honestly don't know the entire history. I just know like the major comic book continuity where those two actually became a thing, whereas the Age of Apocalypse universe, which is an AU setting, and they actually got married and had a kid in that one, which is all sorts of wrong. Because people are asking, how old was Rogue here?
A very
The
valid
answer
question
is
to ask.
Yeah.
Much younger than Magneto, who is a Holocaust survivor.
yeah. It's like there's always going to be the age gap here,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but it's like if you're wondering if Rogue is underage or not, they're probably not saying because she probably was.
Yeah.
I think Rogue is generally portrayed as being
Yeah.
relatively adult, but
I'm talking
Yeah.
about
When they were an item. Yeah.
like keep in mind Mystique was not a good parent. She's an especially terrible parent in the X-Men continuity here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fair.
So that is something she completely would have done.
Yeah.
It's like, it's also because somehow Magneto's electromagnetical powers can allow him to touch Rogue's skin. Not
Sure.
exactly sure how.
Yeah.
Something biological magnetic field, something electromagnetic repulsion, something.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And, that's always been the tragic core at the heart of Rogue and Gambit. These two are very, very exceedingly horny for each other, but can never act upon it. Because, a kiss can put Gambit into a coma,
Mm-hmm.
much less getting to first base. Granted, with inventive technologies, I think they could have made it work. Just hear me out. Like, they've got the collar suppression technology.
Yeah, I was about to say, did they have the suppressions in this one, or was that an Evolutions thing?
Yeah, no, they have it here. I'm like, and if not that, then, explore the wonders of latex, I say. I mean, given your outfits, you're not far off the mark here. I'm just saying, maybe y'all should get creative instead of overtly pining.
Yeah.
But then again, we wouldn't have our dynamic now, would we? Because that's the thing about Rogue and Gambit. They're the tragic doomed couple. Or doomed never to couple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy, that reared its head again.
Because, yeah, the one who can shut off powers is the point where she could accidentally kill someone, can't be with somebody who, kind of likes being alive.
I'm talking about this latest episode.
Yeah. Holy moly. Because, that first half was soapy, and then the second half happened.
I likened it to, what if a 8-year-old decided to bring his Godzilla figure onto his sister playing with her Barbies? That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah. Or is this more likely here? What we witnessed was the Marvel animation version of the Red Wedding.
No, what we saw here is the animated form of an event called E is for Extinction by Grant Morrison.
Well, right, yeah, that's what this is. But
it's an interesting move because now this X-Men 97 show is pulling cards from beyond the 90s. It's pulling a few cards from the 2000s because we're also seeing Punish Cyclops.
Oh, God.
Cyclops. Yeah, Cyclops, human rant there. That's very 2000 Cyclops.
Yeah, that's very revolutionary there, and
Yeah. And now we got this, which is, once again, this is something from Grant Morris's 2000s run, let's say.
That was a Cyclops that went fucking batshit after Jean Grey died the first time, right?
The second time, I think.
Second time, yeah. I know
It's hard to keep track.
Cyclops went off the deep end one of the times Phoenix died.
Yeah, it's happened in comic books.
I'm aware, yes.
Yeah.
I do enjoy me some Doctor Strange from time to time, and I'm pretty sure if we had a doll for every time he died,
Yeah, I mean that's another thing entirely. That's magic.
Yeah.
Sorcerer Supreme and all that.
I mean, bullshit mutant powers are basically magic. Let's be real here.
True. But-
Especially when we're talking about Phoenix.
Mhm.
Am I wrong?
No. But yeah, here's the thing. What we saw in X-Men 97 was the lighter and softer version of that event.
Mm.
It also begs a big old question mark of where we're going here. Because
so you
they
mean
could
we
be
didn't
going.
have
Well,
to
of
go to the
course.
part where Professor X was debating essentially lobotomizing Cyclops because he went a little too far?
Well,
Well, here's the thing.
Well-
Professor X staying alive, apparently.
yeah,
Mm.
or at the very least is not here.
He's dead
Like-
and or recuperating at his bird girlfriend's place in space or something.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, he's dead from the rules and standards of things, but
Well, they haven't
Technically, as
mentioned
we
the
all know, he was
Calciar
in a-
yet
yeah,
in
that's
X-Men
the thing, isn't it?
97, which
Yeah.
is curious.
That's why I said and or.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, it's like this is only episode 5,
Yeah.
and we still have a 3-part finale to go.
But it's the question of who are they setting up here? Because there's a few answers. If we're continuing on the Grant Morrison line, then it's Cassandra Nova, aka Charles Xavier's evil twin.
Yeah.
Is this where we bring the soap opera music back?
Maybe.
Maybe yes.
I mean, if we're
Maybe,
continuing
yes.
along with the Friends of Humanity and the themes, it could be Bastion, which
Mhm.
be less impressive. If only because
Yeah, it would be kind of disappointing.
well, I mean that's Bastion in a nutshell. It's just kind of a
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Of course, this could be setting up Apocalypse because we had
Yeah.
Cable show up.
Right. And specifically, if you recall, Cable specifically said he's coming, specifically using the pronoun he.
Yeah,
So-
and when Cable usually shows up, it means Apocalypse is involved somehow.
Yeah. So yeah, you add that plus Tim saying he's coming. I mean,
And
Logic
an
would
event
then
like this would
speak you that
definitely
way.
be in Apocalypse's MO because,
Mhm.
Apocalypse,
hmm
he's not above apocalypsing, if you will.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah.
There's also been concerns about the multiverse because the Watcher showed up.
Yeah, it was a blink when is more of a, very much you have to pay close attention, but
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah, he's there. The thing is, when the Watcher
20 minutes, 40 seconds. There he is.
Well, here's the thing. It's like it's probably not. This probably isn't a what if thing. It's more a no. If the Watcher's here, an event of great cosmic significance is about to happen, which is I'm thinking the actual course here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
And then what happened afterwards? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Something that you
Yeah.
probably did not expect to see in this animated form.
Yeah. Well, it's like the kid gloves are off
Oh, yes.
because according
Oh,
to the
yes.
showrunner, this is apparently supposed to be the X-Men version of 9/11.
Well,
That's a fun
mission
analogy.
successful. Well, actually, if you read it, it's actually not. It's partially 9/11. It's also partially the Pulse nightclub shooting too,
Right.
because it's safe space that everybody believes was safe, violated in a horrific fashion.
A
What was
stark reminder of your place in the world.
Your place in the world, and also, it's not an innocent world anymore.
Mm.
Was it ever?
So, no,
The
well,
answer is no,
but it was, a little bit sanitized because Saturday morning television. Here, no,
Mhm.
it's no longer sanitized at all. Like, Like those that last bit with Rogue there at the end. Ooh, that doesn't give you a punch to the gut. I don't know what will.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
Lenore Zan brought it.
Yeah.
Just figured I'd give her flowers because that little bit there, and also that this is her first major voice role since ending her run as a Canadian politician.
This is true.
She actually was in Parliament for a term, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's also not a native Southerner.
Mm-mm.
And also, no, Gambit is not an actual Cajun. Oh, dear God, no.
So
Anyway, we should probably move over to entertainment news since we kind of have to wrap this up early.
Yeah.
Yep.
And geez,
And I
where to
have
start here?
zero to say about X-Men animated anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, so where to start here? Oh, they're trying to make another go for a Monopoly movie.
It's the Monopoly Man. Wait.
Insert joke about real life.
God.
I mean, you should not be. You know what? You should not be surprised that they're doing this. Like, once the Lego Movie and now Barbie together here, it's like everybody now thinks that they can adapt anything, no matter how mundane. Like we're getting a goddamn Minecraft movie. I mean,
Is that still
it's
happening?
like, yes, it
Oh,
is.
God, yeah.
God.
Oh
damn
yeah, it is. Yeah, like, but it's like Hollywood thinks now that they can adapt any goddamn thing. So
Well, here's the thing: this isn't a new concept necessarily. They've been trying to get a Monopoly movie off the ground for like 15 years. But it turns out, you actually have to make something because Monopoly is not a script.
Especially because it usually devolves into one of the siblings beating the life out of another sibling. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not. But this time, Margot Robbie, and Lionsgate are going to make a go at, making a Monopoly movie.
I mean, good luck. I mean, we'll see what they can do. I mean,
I'm wondering if it's going to be as stupid as Battleship.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think you can get that stupid with Monopoly. I mean, there are. I guess you could try to make it seem like maybe more the concept of Monopoly of the game rather than the game board. Like
maybe turns up being some crazy Wolf of Wall Street bullshit.
Something like that, yeah. Like
that's probably the only direction you could really go.
Like the game is basically a game about becoming a real estate tycoon, essentially. So maybe
in specifically Atlantic City and/or part of London.
Well, yeah, but
then you're just Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah. Well, there's that too. Like I mean, we'll see, but I'm not saying that. I mean, I think in terms of like board games and stuff to adapt, Monopoly's probably least insane because at least there's some level of reality basis with the game.
Yeah.
Like,
We've had high stakes financial quote unquote thrillers before that they could kind of base it off
right,
of.
yeah, right, exactly. I mean, there's at least some level of reality basis with the Monopoly game. It's not like, Shoots and Ladders, Candyland, or, something like that. There's at least some level of reality basis with this that you can, if you have the mind and if you, find the right concept that clicks,
Mm-hmm.
it might work. I mean, we just had a movie where nobody thought they could make a movie that worked, and we got one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's like Monopoly is the least insane board game to perhaps make a movie out of. It's
I
still
mean,
kind of crazy, but
we did get a decent movie out of Clue.
right, exactly. So, like, I mean, it's not it's at first it's like, what the hell, but then you would think about it and you go, maybe
If this was like
not as
pre-Wolf of Wall
insane.
Street or something like that, I would be more like, what the
Or, yeah,
hell? But
Wolf,
then
yeah,
Wolf of Wall Street
Wolf,
was actually a decent movie, and like, hey,
yeah,
wait a minute, they
Wolf,
could probably base
yeah,
it off that, and they could probably make something interesting out of this.
yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, Big Short, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. So, are you tired of remakes?
Yes.
Too
What's
bad.
next?
Oh,
Where's your next,
God.
I'm tired of unnecessary remakes.
Where to next,
Oh, too
old chap?
bad, because we're getting another Blair Witch remake.
Oh, did we just have one of those like a few years ago?
What's the point of even remaking that?
Again.
A, just make a sequel, and B, it's a fucking found footage movie. That's the entire goddamn point of the Blair Witch.
How do you really feel about it?
Yeah, well, I got two words. Well, I got two words for you for the terms of this remake: Blumhouse.
Oh, god damn it!
Oh, technically it's one word, but yeah. Our good buddy Jason Blum is behind this one. Because
Why are
hey,
we still
you know
giving
what?
him work?
Because his movies make money. Well, most of them anyway.
nice additive on there.
Yeah, I have to add that additive because, Jeff.
Define make money.
Well, it's low budget and makes a lot of money,
Yeah,
so
they
therefore it
brought
makes
in
bank.
more money than they used to make it because they used next
Exactly.
to nothing to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Low budget, lots of money. So, technically it makes money.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's like, yeah. Well, if you really, and considering that it's about low budget, you don't get as lower of a budget as you do Blair Witch, so fits the wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Bloomhouse.
Exactly.
I hate that.
Fits the Bloomhouse. Yeah. About the Bloomhouse, yeah.
I think like maybe 3 people would understand that reference.
I know. I know.
Once again, do you hate remakes? Too bad, because we're getting more of them.
Too bad. You hate remakes? You sure spend money like you don't.
Let me finish. Because television shows are also getting remade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Heroes is getting rebooted.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you mean live action My Hero Academia?
No.
In fairness, if there is a series that needs a do-over, it's Heroes.
Fair.
It was a little low on School, wasn't it? Compared to My
really
Hero
a
Academia.
school series?
No.
Yeah.
Heroes was when most of them were all adults. You're thinking of Sky High.
No, I'm just you're the one who compared it to live.
Fair.
You're the one who said live. I was just saying it's a slightly off comparison, but I know what you
Okay.
mean by it.
Yeah.
As I was saying, like in fairness, Heroes really, really needs a do-over because
Yeah.
After season
Yeah.
1, it kind of fell off a truck.
Uh-huh.
fell off a fucking canyon.
Uh-huh.
So that's when I'm not too sad getting a reboot.
Hmm.
And it's coming from series creator Tim Keating, so hopefully you get to do it good this time.
Yeah.
More gooder.
Yeah. On the other hand, we are also getting a reboot of Melrose Place.
Melrose Place, yes.
The
Because,
Didn't
fuck?
you already-
you know,
Have we hit barrel bottom now?
No, we haven't
by the
hit the
way,
bottom of the barrel since we're not getting a remake of Models Inc. yet.
Jesus.
and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going, what?
Yeah, exactly. Like
That's 'cause
Melrose Place is at least still something of a name.
Yeah, well, and
I
Heather
mean, they tried
Locklear's
it with
involved, so there's
90210
the...
and it worked.
I
But
mean, it ran for 5 seasons, so
it did.
yeah, it ran for 5 seasons, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're talking about that strange little scripted reality hybrid thing they did for a year.
Might be thinking of that.
Yeah, you're thinking of BH 90210 instead of 90210, which lasted for 5 years. So
Well, yeah, so we're getting a Melrose Place reboot with some of the original cast, like Heather Locklear, Laura Layton, and Daphne.
and Daphne Zuniga. Zuniga,
Zuniga.
yeah.
So, I guess
It's apparently apparently it's
I'm not going to pretend like
yeah.
anything.
None of us do.
It's like,
None of us.
I mean, here's the thing. It's fucking Melrose Place. I'm not going to pretend that was like anything worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even old enough to get in the tub, as it were.
God damn it.
Oh boy.
Do you feel proud of that one, Kevin?
I mean, I was thinking. I'm thinking both of the fact that this was a soap opera, and well, what we're dealing with
It
here,
went off
but
the fucking rails like a soap opera did.
mm-hmm. Well, it technically was supposed to be a soap opera. Both it and 90210.
I mean, it went soap opera places like that time fucking bomb exploded Melrose Place. That happened.
Yeah. It certainly did.
Didn't watch it, but I remember the promos.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Darren Star for you, folks.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hollywood. End of creative bankruptcy.
Hollywood,
God,
yes.
Truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hollywood or television, whatever you want.
Yeah. And pick a name. Anyway, and better news, we'll end off with this. Warner Brothers is doing a movie about Yusuke, the first Black Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yes, even during the time where Japan was mostly closed, they still had some foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to find out this has been canned after, few years.
Well, I mean, Chadwick
I mean-
Boseman was trying to get this off the ground
Yeah,
before he
Yeah.
died.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but at the
it'll
same
be
time,
interesting
also
to s-
WB.
right.
This
You
is
know,
coming from
presumably this is
coming
because
from,
Shogun's been doing well.
yeah.
Mm.
This is coming from Blitz Bazawule, I think is how his last name is pronounced. Yeah, he recently directed that Color Purple musical. Yeah, he's the one behind this Yusuke project. And say what say what you will about the Zazman and everything else, and we have, and we will continue to do so. But when it comes
God,
to
yeah.
the two people at the center of Warner Brothers, I'm gonna get their names here. Make sure that I right here. Yeah, Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. They are very much notorious for being being active and getting pretty much any project they can get their hands on. So, at the very least, they are loading up the till, as it were.
Hmm.
So, it's just a simple case of they're getting all these projects, they're aligning all these stars. Does any of them get up on the screen? That's the big question here. And does any of them get up on the screen? And they're still at the studio. So
Indeed. Anyway, that's something to keep an eye out for. And thus, I think we will call the curtain on this week's episode of MSP.
All right, then.
Mac,
Oh,
you
is
good?
that so, Tippy?
Oh.
Tippy's howling.
Mm.
Well, I guess all things being equal, next week we'll have LP Aki of the All-in-One webcomic.
Mm-hmm.
Anything particular to say about that one?
A slice of life mixed with a pinch of mischief and a teaspoon of fun. Like, it is worth noting that when I approached Aki with the interview, they had a Kickstarter going that has since been canceled due to scheduling issues, but the actual comic project is ongoing.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, they apologized to me today because they forgot to actually inform us about that.
Mm.
Oops. Yeah. But they assured us that they will have things to talk about next week.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's installment of MSP. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Mac Paladin. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time.